From the BR Proud Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel, and thanks for joining us this evening with the very latest on Delta. Are you tired of these hurricanes quite yet? This would be landfall tomorrow. Will be the fourth named storm to make landfall in the state of Louisiana this year. And we've already had 7 other named storms. You can see the picture right here, the graphic showing you that Sally got very close. We dealt with it for numerous days. Marco went just along the coastline. Cristobal, which pushed through earlier in the season in July. Beta just a couple weeks ago. And obviously Laura, look at the current path of Delta, maybe just about 20 miles, almost from the same landfall as Laura just about 6 weeks ago. And we also had Hannah a little bit further south in the southern tip of Texas. So it's been one very active season so far. And here is again the very latest on Delta. A little bit stronger at this hour with winds up to 120 miles per hour. It's moving towards the north-northwest at 12 miles per hour. So again, the forward speed hasn't changed much since 7 o'clock this evening. You can see we're starting to finally see some banding all the way around the center of the circulation, kind of wrapping around. You can see that band, one of the reasons why we're starting to see it rapidly intensify. We had a little bit of wind shear throughout the day on the easterly side, but that's kind of choking it off. Now again, there's plenty of wind shear above this system as it makes its way towards the coastline. You can kind of see it kind of getting ripped off, and that's why you're seeing that fanning pattern with the cloud cover. Again, the possibility for shear and weakening is definitely there, but at least for the next few hours, I see this system getting a little bit stronger out there, and that's what the forecast is calling. Winds up to about 125, maybe 120. Eventually, it'll be on its downward cycle as it runs into the cooler waters, along with that wind shear, and maybe it'll in a little bit of dry air in the mix, some intrusion, and that'll help to kind of weaken this system quickly as it moves inland. So by the time it gets to about central Louisiana, down to a Cat 1, and then even a tropical storm around I-20 pushing towards the Monroe area. Overall, the track hasn't shifted much. However, still that potential that we could see a little bit of a jog to the east or west. Again, could be a few miles, 15, 20 miles to the east, and that means more impacts for us because the wind field is getting much larger at this point. So again, the key here is that, again, don't think about the category or the current path. Just know that the impacts are going to be far-reaching. You can see Friday evening should be landfall as a weaker Category 2 or a stronger Category 1. And then again, it quickly races through the state. I think it may even level out a little bit more as we move into, I could even see it taking more of a path like this. As soon as it makes its entrance into the state, kind of sliding more so like this. And that again would increase the impacts a little bit closer to the Baton Rouge area, especially Point Coupee Parish in southern Mississippi could obviously see more in the way of rainfall along with those stronger winds as the system slides through the state. So here you go, current tropical models, a lot of agreement, not much changing over the last day and a half. Again, it still seems that the Cameron and Vermilion Parish line seems to be the point at this one. So again, we're going to watch this system kind of drive through pretty quickly up through the Jackson area and slide out of here. Here's the very latest, and you see that we've got tropical storm warnings in place for much of the viewing area. That means winds between 39 and 73. I expect sporadic power outages, not widespread. However, just a few miles to the west, you can see the red. Winds over 74 means hurricane force winds and could be quite substantial and significant for numerous hours. So yeah, I think the likelihood for widespread power outages for a lot of locations. And again, if the track moves just a hair to the east, notice where that dividing line is. It means more areas could see possible hurricane force winds here. I also want to point out at this hour, we're already starting to see a little bit of rainfall out there. We've had some heavy downpours, a lot of areas already recording about an inch of rain. We currently sit at 74 with winds out of the north-northeast at about 10 miles per hour. But you can see the rain coming down quite heavy and steady at this hour. We've also got those showers kind of lifting north of the capital area. Eventually, those storms will kind of lift out of here, and we'll get back into a little bit of a dry period, but not for long because I expect more of these outside bands, most of this moisture moving inland just north of Delta. That's going to continue overnight and throughout the daytime hours of tomorrow, even though the storm is going to sit a few miles from the coast. So here's the story. Again, probably between 3 and about 6 landfall. I expect the system to be right in line with Baton Rouge, probably around 8 and 9 o'clock in the evening, and then quickly race through here. But you got to, I'm going to step this back just a little bit to show you the concern. It's all those feeder bands. So we're talking probably early afternoon around lunchtime, moving into the afternoon and early evening, that we could start to see some of these areas possibly spawn a tornado or two. You got to watch kind of these outer parts. Again, we're talking right through the Baton Rouge area, even New Orleans right now underneath a slight risk. So that potential is currently there. And then you see here, again, mainly because of the environment too. This time of the year, it's easy. A lot of shear in the atmosphere, so it doesn't take much to fire up these tornadoes. Now, again, a lot of these are smaller, weaker tornadoes, but still the potential to do enough damage. So just be well aware of that. That's where we're going to see most of our heavy rainfall in some of these feeder bands, where we could see a couple inches per hour. And then the system should lift out of here just around midnight or slightly after. Still a little bit breezy, but we'll get back to drier conditions heading into Saturday morning, and then we'll quiet down right after that. But again, the chance for tropical storm force winds pretty high at this point. Looks like we're in the likely category for the capital area and everything around Acadiana. You see here the chance for hurricane force winds. That sits a little bit closer to the Lake Charles and obviously landfall area, but we still have the possibility, and I want to show you our in-house model here. Again, some of the outskirts could easily see, starting in the afternoon, maybe some gusts up to about 40, 50 miles per hour. Notice near the coast, 100 plus in Abbeville as the system starts to make its way inland. By the time we get to 6 p.m., Lafayette winds at 115 plus, Abbeville 100, Lake Charles 100. Notice us, 66, so starting to climb a little bit. And even as we watch the system push almost directly or kind of in line with the capital area, winds at 75. That is a hurricane wind gust. So anything above 74 is a hurricane force wind. So there still is that potential, especially if it starts to take that jog a little bit more in an easterly direction and kind of levels out a little bit. So again, that potential, and really the winds don't weaken a little bit until the system slides through. So right now, flash flood watch still in place, obviously, as we're seeing about, again, the chance for localized rain right now, about half an inch to an inch for many areas, but still that potential that we could see another inch to even 4 inches this evening, and that's why we remain underneath that flood advisory until 4 o'clock this evening. Again, the totals for rain, most of it will be right around the center of the storm, but for us, I think we're going to sit in that 3 to 5. Again, there is that potential for a strong storm tonight. I still think most of the thunderstorm and possible tornadic activity will be tomorrow, as we could see a few isolated spin-ups out there in those feeder bands. Right now, a slight risk. We've got watches and warnings out there for storm surge. Our entire coastline underneath the warning. Our inland lakes, mainly the far western side of Lake Maurepas, currently underneath that watch. And you can see some of the possible storm surge. We're talking 7 to 11 for Vermilion Bay. That goes all the way to Port Fourchon. 4 to 6 from that point to the mouth of the Mississippi, and then obviously north of that point 2 to 4. Inland lakes will sit about 2 to 4, and just south of Lake Charles, we're talking about 4 to 7. Again, you're just kind of looking at the new map, and obviously it's in the process of updating right now, so we'll get past that. Main thing is, again, just stay vigilant, because a lot of that water is going to push up the Atchafalaya Basin too. So if you live in Morgan City, or if you live in Pierre Part, or Butte, La Rose, there are a lot of areas that have water surrounding you. Again, just make plans to possibly leave just in case if the waters do rise very quickly. Again, make those final preparations right now, as we're going to be looking at landfall late in the afternoon, early evening on Friday. Put in those furniture, the decorations. I've noticed a lot of inflatables out there for Halloween. Make sure you put those away just in case. And then take an inventory of your home. Trim your tree branches. Well, that's pretty much done right now, but you still have time to clear your gutters and clear those storm drains. And one last chance to really just finish and basically finish up that hurricane kit and make it ready to go. And also a reminder to check your pets. So here you go. Make sure you download our free app. It's everything you need. All the latest information on Delta as it makes its way to our coastline tomorrow. You can always go to beourproud.com for the very latest information. Again, we've got some in-depth analysis of this storm. And again, continue to watch us on our newscast, and also send us questions on Facebook. Again, we love to hear them. Again, we want to make sure that you guys are staying safe. So stay safe, stay prepared, and be ready for action, and we will get you through this storm. Have a good evening.